my best mate we've been following each other around consultancy for 30 years. He came in as my help. And without him and without a secretary, I just would have fallen on my arse. But that was good. It was pinnacle. What's your last full-time job? I go, yeah, with the cops. And people go, you with the cops. It's great, you know. Here's the New South Wales Police Service. Here's a body of men of which I think God is proud.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Luke from Granddad Jack's Craft Distillery, and today on Speakeasy, we're talking to Big Trev. A local legend around here with his 2 pups, comes in for a drink, and I want to see what he's got to say. He is a father of 4. He has plenty to say about anything to do with comedy, writing, art, and he's a lover of all good shirts, so let's have a chat. Let's make a couple of whiskey sours. What do you reckon? Come behind the bar with me. I'll show you how. Have you made a cocktail recently?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, come over this side. I'll get you on the tools.
Well then, let's do that.
Gonna start off. We've got a shaker. You're gonna fill this half of the shaker with some ice. So you can get that started for me. I'll grab some whiskey. So see this line here?
Yep.
Gonna fill that up twice and put it into the shaker there. This is our whiskey. So this is one of 91 bottles.
Right.
It's a really nice, beautiful small batch. This is our single malt. So basically we brewed this, distilled it, and then it just went into a single kind of 50-litre barrel.
Yep.
And then aged for about almost 3 years. And then we pulled it out of the barrel and then put it in these.
Wonderful. It must be hard waiting that long. It's like a kid in October waiting to unwrap his presents.
Yeah, exactly. Except 3 years. I've gone through 3 Octobers, yeah. Same again, measure the same out.
This is fun.
You ever been behind the bar back in the day?
Look, only helping out with friends of mine that have owned pubs, and yeah, take the stick, Trev, you know. Yeah. I'm going out the back to do something you don't want to know about, you know.
Same again with the sugar.
You know, I had a worry then that I wouldn't be able to get the cap off. And I'd be thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And then you'd have to answer the question and it'd take forever.
Perfect, now we've got the short side, so this is some egg whites.
Right.
Perfect, throw that in as well. Now slap these 2 together, so ice into the bigger section, and then bang down on the top to lock it in place. And then give it a good shake. Get some rhythm, pretty good. That's it. Until you feel the shaker getting nice and cold, so keep going.
Absolutely, yep.
Pour it through that strainer and into that one. So you got 2 loads there, so you can almost fill up both glasses. You should be able to get pretty close. Cool, so stop there. And then we'll get the strainer out into the next one. That's it. Nailed it. Cheers, Trev. Thanks for coming in, mate.
This is an absolute pleasure.
When was the last time you had a whiskey sour?
Probably about 6 months ago.
Yep. Here?
No. Up at Early Beach.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, staying in a place up there, doing some writing near the bar. And I do like a whiskey sour. Yeah.
So this is our still. So this is a 1200 litre still.
But that's an impressive type of machine. How old is it?
This one's just over 3 years now.
Right, and it's custom made, or is there a factory somewhere producing like?
There's a factory, but it's kind of custom in the sense that you select sections of it.
Right.
So they make each part, and then you basically you pick the parts that you want to put together, and they send it all as a piece of kit.
Raw materials in there. Boils, the steam comes out up through there where it's cooled and drips out as golden liquid.
Yeah, so it comes out crystal clear, and it comes out in like 3 stages. So you have heads, which is the nasty stuff at the start. Yep. Then you have hearts, which is all the good stuff in the middle, and then tails, which is kind of all the stuff you don't want. Yeah. So you just came in different and felt different about the place and sat down for a drink.
And I think I had the dogs that day, and I thought, oh, I can take the dogs here. And of course, this little other thing was running around. Yeah. I thought, oh, yeah, well, I can walk here which is a real bonus, obviously. So yeah, when I feel like a drink, I come here and banter with the staff and drink some wonderful of these type of drinks. I do drink the beer here as well, but when you're tasting, I think it's good to really drink something unique you enjoy. You know, like beer is beer and good beer is good beer, but you get a whiskey sour or a nice Manhattan or an old fashioned, you know, you feel as though you're just giving yourself a bit of a treat, you know, and you're not gonna, you know, throw them down and, well, you might, but hopefully they're not the drinks that your group party with, if you know what I mean.
Well, I feel like it's like a cigar, you know, everyone feels cool with a cigar. I feel cool with a nice drink and, you know?
Yeah, what do they say? A woman is a woman, a good cigar is a smoke.
Yeah. So how long have you had the two pups for?
About 5 years, I think. Yeah.
Got them at the same time?
Pretty well, but completely different backgrounds and all that. Yeah, he lived in a home unit at Wollstonecraft up the road from John Howard. She was a reject dog given as a present to somebody. I was with a partner at the time, so I ended up with 2 dogs. We split up and I kept the dogs.
Cashed out.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. It's, you know, it was a fair fight.
Have you had pets all your life?
Pretty well on and off, yeah. Grew up with a little dog, you know, dog in the family home as long as I can remember there is dogs. Some kick the bucket and that toughens you up. When you're 5, you think, oh, somebody's died, I better learn how to drink alcohol.
Yeah, that is probably the first tragedy when you're a kid, hey, like pets passing away. I remember mine was a little bit horrific. I saw my second dog ever get hit by a car. So
it's the drama and all that, particularly if it's a very violent type of thing. You don't ever forget that. But another thing about it, when you do have tragedy as a small child, the idea of all that hasn't really festered in your head, and all the parents and aunties and uncles really make a big deal of it. And there's a sense in which you almost go, oh, well, I better feel what they want me to feel. If you're with a whole bunch of heartless people, just go, don't worry, it's just a dog. You grow up going, it's just a dog. Yeah, you know? Yeah, it's God, all this emotional stuff we go through growing up. It's interesting, and when you think about your parents and how there was always beer in the fridge, and you know they used to go out and Mum loved the martinis, just absolutely, you know, and you grow up with a certain amount of respect for it because neither of them ever overdid it, but it does smooth out the ride, and I think they allowed that to happen. And it was a boisterous house, you know, 4 kids.
Plenty going on.
Out in the suburbs.
And so you grew up in the suburbs then? Did you grow up on the coast?
I grew up in the Sutton Shire. Yeah, well. Town of Engadine, bush at the back, little shopping centre, 1 pub. That's where we used to go as 12-year-olds, wear fake moustaches to go. Or sign in as somebody for your, nobody remembers this, but it used to be something called bona fide travellers of a Sunday. Locals could only, the pubs could only sell to somebody who was from over 5 k's away. Oh wow. Yeah, so everybody had a false address. And,
What was that about? I've never heard of that before.
Licensing laws in Australia were very primitive. Like you couldn't drink on Sunday because you were supposed to be in church or mass or something. Forget your Seventh-day Adventists and Jews and Muslims, you know. Like otherwise you'd have to close every pub for the, well, except for the Muslims, you don't drink, but you know. And yeah, that was just a hangover from the old religious days. And I could tell you why. The DLP ran the politics at the time, and they were a very strict, modest Catholic party who had a lot of political clout. So it took reform. Probably Whitlam was on who just go, can't drink on Sunday. Good Lord, you know, I could go to do something about that. You know, that's a bad Whitlam impersonation, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, it was more like Menzies. Yeah.
And so growing up in the suburbs, what did you do for your first job?
Telecom. Oh, no, the very first job was a nighttime mail sorter at the Sydney Mail Exchange when I was 16, living in the People's Palace, doing a night shift. You know, as a high school kid wandering around Sydney at 3 in the morning going, whoa, you know, like, look, don't want to go into detail, but it's an eye-opener, you know. And that's when I started reading and writing crime novels. Yeah.
And how long, so you've done that since you were a kid?
I just don't enough. I like playing with crime as a literary device, you know, because you've got such a broad spectrum, you know. And of course you can set a lot of crime novels in bars and have alcohol as a backdrop to it, you know. And it is good dramatic stuff, and it is real stuff too, you know. Like, people do drink, people do get themselves into trouble, do have family disputes. So writing's good that way. Although I'm writing children's books now. Not to say that there is a scene where a giraffe gets absolutely pissed and falls over on somebody's veranda. And the guy's veranda, he says, "You can't leave that lion here." And the little girl says, "That's not a lion, that's a giraffe."
So have you been writing since you were
Yeah, I'm not very good, but it's a hobby, you know. I might have been collecting stamps. Mightn't be very good, but I enjoy it. You know?
What do you think you're best at?
Well, painting.
Painting?
Yeah. Not that, you know, the world large degrees, but I got pictures that I do that really surprise me, that somehow that come out of a dropkick like me. You know, I could show them to you one day, but not now. Yeah.
Is that the thing you're most proud of? Is your painting?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because people that know me do have a sense of, really, you painted that? Nah. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And do you have an accomplishment that you're most proud of?
Oh, God, I don't know. Just keeping the whole. I've got 4 kids, you know, to first marriage, and you know, I'm proud that between me and, you know, their mum, my ex, that everyone's working out pretty good. You know, so if that's an accomplishment, it just means you haven't completely fucked up your own life so much that your kids, you know, decide to fuck up theirs, because why not? You know? Is that an accomplishment, or is that just go, yeah, raise kids, who cares? You know?
I don't know. I think, like, at least being happy about raising your kids must be, you know, I think it's a different kind of state of mind.
The other side of the coin is bad, you know, if you've got, you know, kids with serious, you know, behavioural problems, like, you know, I mean, criminal problems, or, you know, again, particularly problems against you or something, that must be diabolical. If your kid's got a disability or something, that's another issue to deal with. But where you got kids who just turn into complete arseholes, geez, that must be a horrible way to live your life.
I got a 3-year-old now, and he
is he an arsehole?
Nah, not yet. We'll give him a few years. But yeah, it's hard to describe the amount of, like, I don't know, love and everything that you have for your children.
Look, it's amazing, you know, I haven't had little kids for a long while, but even just having a puppy or a dog around pulls on your heartstrings, so much more having your own child. You know? Quite often there's people who probably give a lot more of their affection to the dog than what they ever gave to the kids, you know. I don't know why that is, you know.
I think it brings out the emotion too, especially like me being someone that was, you know, 20-something-year-old, had my first child, and then definitely a change of mind for sure.
Yeah, look, I think another thing you asked what my accomplishments are, I'd probably just rather think that every now and then I surprise myself with an opportunity that comes along. I worked for Telstra for a long while. I was environmental manager for Telstra for about 20 years, and then went out consulting. Ended up working for councils, and then my very last gig was working for the New South Wales Police, running their radio network. Not running it, but doing property management for their radio network. And everybody, when I told them, people go, "You working for the cops?" I go, "Yeah." "Oh, come on," because I've got a few bad habits, and you know, it's no secret. But "You working for the cops?" I said, "They did a police check. I'm a clean skin. Here's my approval number." You know. After I sat down, had a little desk, wasn't good enough to have an office, you know. But yeah, there I was, and did that for 2 or 3 years. My best mate, we've been following each other around consultancy for 30 years. He came in as my help, and without him and without a secretary, I just would have fallen on my arse. But that was good. It was pinnacle. What's your last full-time job? I go, "Yeah, with the cops." And people go, "You with the cops?" It's great, you know. Here's the New South Wales Police Service. There's a body of men of which I think God is proud. The police service aren't real proud of God because he gives them too many rules to follow. All that thou shalt not murder and all that shit. You know, how can you do your job with those commandments? But anyway, wonderful body of men and women too. Some of the best coppers I met were senior women, you know, like, you know, and I suppose they had to negotiate their way up, you know, through, you know, big bearded man town or something, not yourself. But,
not a big beard.
a big man and big on making a very good big drink.
Oh, thanks, man.
It is, it's, I'd like to actually savour it more, but I'm too busy talking about myself, which is something that, you know, I just don't like doing very much. And
But that's why you're here, I guess. Like, you know, I don't think many people get to talk about themselves much, and it gives you a little bit of time to reflect, and you kind of get to be like,
I was a stand-up comedian for a while.
oh, good.
And that hones shit. But I've always been in front of people. The first time I was on stage, I did a drag show at the local church. So that really worried a lot of people. A big pink dressing gown, pink hat.
I was going to say pink. Pink seems to be your colour.
Oh yeah, I look good in pink. Yeah, pretty in pink, one might say.
Who's your favourite comedian?
Oh shit. Look, I don't want to be cliched, but Jerry Seinfeld, because I did see him in New York before he started, and he was supporting me, and no, that's not true. That's not true. Australian comedians, look, I like people quick on their feet. Akmal, I think, is particularly clever. Sean McAuliffe, I got a lot of, even though I don't find him visually, you know, that engaging, his writing ability and all that is, you know, really good. Randy, somebody in Randy, CJ, the puppet, they're good. Oh, and if ever you get a hold of Agro's Cartoon Connections R-rated tape, that is probably comedy gold ever. There's this little puppet under a desk, you know, guy doing that, and an attractive girl introducing cartoons, and every now and then the puppet will say something like, "Did you just let one go?" You know, like, I'm down here, what are you doing? You know, things like that, yeah. Like very clever, very R-rated, very, but spontaneous.
Do you think that's something that, when you're talking about New York, do you think that's something that Australia, especially the coast, is slowly coming up in but doesn't quite have a grasp of yet? Like, I remember we went to the Fat Black Pussycat in New York and watched comedy there, and like big acts, and you watch them and you're only in a crowd of 30, 50 people.
No, you're on the lower east side, I think, and you go into a comedy club, and as I said, there's Jerry Seinfeld and other people who 6 months later you see on TV. Room's got 30 people, like this place where it's 3/4 packed, and comedy gold. All Jerry did was just comedy about the difference between living in Manhattan and being what he called the Tunnel and Bridge Brigade. And it was good stuff. And I was sick of North Sydney and Sydney, you know, all these people that have to line up for the tolls, and the same humour could be applied. But there was just something about him, you know. Some guy come out before him, you know, all talking, goes, "Hey everybody, remember the first time you masturbated?" You know, and I'm going, "Oh yeah, that's comedy gold, mate." Anyway, then Jerry came out, I thought, this is, you know, it was next step up, you know, and you see that with other comedians, well, myself, of course. I've made you laugh.
You have, that's true. All right, now I get to do some laughing because you're going to make me laugh more, I think. We've got one last challenge while you're here. It's called the bootlegger challenge. We've got basically an RC car and you're going to have to run a race and see where your time ends up. Do you want me to come and show you? Let's go. So Trev, we've got our bootlegger mobile down here, and this is the bootlegger challenge. So what you're going to do is when I say go, you're going to crouch down here, pick up your bottle, slide it in the back of the truck, and you're going to drive it straight down there, race it around the barrel, and then back and drive it into the bar there. If you drop the bottle, you have to stop, put the bottle back on the truck, race back here, and then start again. You get a 1 second penalty for every time the bottle falls off. Got a good grasp of it?
What type of times have we got?
So we're dealing with everything from 18 seconds to a full minute.
18, yeah, I can take it that was with a, we'll give it a go.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it's all pressure this run. See, I like the nanny approach to this. Oh. Oh.
Oh God, the bottle's broken, there's
It's under
bourbon
there.
everywhere, the dogs are going berserk, the police are arriving. God, who knows what's going on. Quick, get out of here, guys. Quick, put on the siren.
Oh, now he's got a straight path to victory here.
Victory's a big word.
There we go. 1 minute 19 and 81 milliseconds.
I don't know whether that's good or not.
That is at the bottom of the list.
Wonderful, that's what I was aiming for. Oh, so it's not like golf.
No, it's not like golf.
Oh, damn, why did you tell me that to start with? This is embarrassing, and yet I think it's competing that's important. It's not winning, because if it was, I'd be a lot more disappointed throughout my life than what I am now. This is just another step
Exactly. We need the
in my growth
participation
as a
medal.
human, learning the value of failure. And I thank you for teaching me.
My pleasure. Something to write about.
I'll be saying that to the judge on Wednesday. Can I have another go? But instead of using the car, just carry the bottle around. Can I try that?
Yeah. You ready? I'll still count you down. You got to pick it up from the floor, I think. That's still fair.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, you got to go into the bar.
Yeah, there you go, 99. Oh, sorry.
Oh, full 13 seconds. Quick that time.
Yeah, a round of applause for you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the way.